A close friend is holding an event and asks you to photograph his or her event. The thing is, you don't know much about photography, you just so happen to take a lot of pictures. If you're freaking out about what to do, what to photograph, and how not to freak out, this video is for you. Whether you're photographing a birthday party, a church event, or even a wedding, in this video I'm going to guide you through my general checklist of how I go about managing myself before, during, and after an event as a photographer. Hey fam, mga kapatid, I'm Mike, nurse photographer and videographer, and I make videos about camera gear as well as tutorials for new photo and video shooters. I filmed a couple weddings, photographed birthday parties, and even one time did both in one event. Yeah, I don't suggest that one. Nonetheless, before we begin, just want you to know that many of these tips are applicable to both photography and videography.
Before the event.
Yes, we may be the photographers, and sometimes we believe that we know the best when it comes to creativity. However, in this case, it's still the customer who is right.
Discuss with them what they want photographed. Who do they want photographed? What details do they absolutely not want missed? Do they want great grandma to be in plenty of the photos? Do they have a special surprise to be captured that no one else knows about? Some photographers and videographers will have clients write these things themselves on a contract, so the photographer and videographer can defend themselves when they don't get the exact details that the client was thinking of having. Of course, we will photograph the important people being honored, whether it's bride and groom or the birthday celebrant. In addition, we'll capture the moments through the program, the people in the program, and we'll get all the little details in between that one could possibly want captured. Also, to help build your schedule for photography, it's best to ask for programs and to be up to date with any changes so that you can get an idea of what to photograph and when during the day.
Another thing I discuss is how I will deliver the photos or videos. Many established professionals already have galleries where their clients can visit and download their files, but for me, I deliver through USB or through Google Drive. Some other photographers or videographers say it takes 6 to 8 weeks for them to deliver, some sooner, some later, depending on the ongoing projects that they have at the moment. For me, as a full-time nurse, I'll generally give myself a similar time frame of 4 to 8 weeks, but of course, I'll try to finish things as soon as possible. Now, the night before the event, make sure all your camera gear is packed. Your camera, your lens, charger batteries, SD cards, sometimes extra SD cards, and of course, your bag. If you want to see what kind of gear I pack for photography and video, I'll leave links to my kits down below in the description.
During the event.
So, it's the day of the event. Where do you start? What do you photograph? Hopefully you arrived early enough to get your gear ready and other stuff set aside to scope out the area. And of course, don't forget to check in with the client. Ideally, nobody is around and you can start photographing the venue.
Start with the static places and items that are symbolic and even decorated. If you can capture the reception hall while it's empty, that's a great start. Otherwise, start outside of the venue to find any personalized decorations, or even signs.
It's not going to be fun photographing, especially filming these things when guests are in your shot. Again and again.
Next, still on static items, photograph any important props or accessories to be used or worn for the special day. Rings for the ceremony, watches, cufflinks, hats, masks, anything. Last but not least, get some moments of the honored individuals, their family, or other important figures. Of course, there are formal portraits, the creative portraits, and group photos. For photography, you literally set up people for stills. But for videography, you may have the individuals be in certain scenarios where little interactions can be shared amongst others. Father helping his son put on his coat, a mother or sister zipping up the bride's dress, a birthday celebrant receiving a long-distance call from a loved one. Of course, opposite the static is dynamic. The action. Dancing on the floor, writing down notes for the bride and groom at their reception, playing games, opening gifts, reading letters, cutting cakes, hugging, and even crying. In addition to the major body movements, we've also got the micro movements, facial reactions, or even whole body reactions, emotions from the audience, especially from the important people. An example is the reaction of the groom watching his bride walk down the aisle, or even reactions of the parents for their respective children, bride and groom, as they get married. Before the event is over, just make sure you grab a nice group photo, before people start fizzling out and heading home, so you can catch a majority of the guests at the event all together. After the event. After backing up all my photos to 3 different sources, I'll do as I do with all my photos. Culture the hundreds of them that we may not need. Then we'll fix up the horizons, crops, and exposures of my photos, and bring back some colors to just my style. Export. For videos, after backing up, I put everything on the timeline. Then we'll cut the extra parts of the clips, start rearranging clips chronologically, then further arrange them according to the music. I'll check again to make sure my music, cuts, and colors are good. Export.
How do we get the files to the client? It'll be just as we discussed before the event even started. Upload those files or put them on a flash drive and on they go. Just share the details with your clients and send them a form for feedback if all goes well. If it's your first time photographing an event, especially by yourself, it's scary. You may not know many people at the event. You might be running around with the camera telling people you're the photographer, but you're still kind of dealing with imposter syndrome. You don't know what's important, so everything is important. But if we calm ourselves down and focus on the client, what's important to them, capture what's important to them, you'll not only get to enjoy what you're documenting, what you're capturing, but you'll also be able to have a sense of fulfillment while you grow in the experience of serving others to the best of your ability. But let me know down below, what's some of the first events that you photographed? If you're still very new to photography and are going to do more event photography, you'll get more comfortable with it the more you do it, especially for people who you photograph for free, because no pressure, right? Just have your batteries charged, memory cards empty, and your camera ready to go, and you'll be all good. Just be ready and be enthusiastic about the next free opportunities that you can grab to improve your skills and serve through your talents. Just note that photography is more than just hitting the shutter button though. That's why over here in this video, I teach you how to compose your photos. Thanks again for watching. Now go out there and shoot for the life that matters. See ya.